Not to get too heavy in politics, but in light of Brexit and everyone talking about patriotism, what does that mean? I know that we shout about how proud we are about certain things, and I think those goalposts about what we're known for are constantly changing. My name's Naomi Smart. I am the shopping editor at British Vogue.
Working at British Vogue, we're always asked to try and pinpoint what British style is. It's never been one distinct look. It's an attitude. Classical British style comes from a sense of heritage and tradition, which has always sparked a rebellion. And it's this rebellion that has given birth to all our subcultures. We pull from very different moments in our history and combine them in new ways, on the street and on the catwalk. I'm interested to know why designers keep coming back to our cultural heritage and how they're reinterpreting it in a new context.
We kind of love nostalgia, but at the same time, we love to destroy it.
If this is a classroom, I definitely need to come back to art school.
Take something that's quite traditional and then you sort of play around with it.
Can I try that on?
Look, I'm walking like a robot.
My first port of call was supermodel Stella Tennant and former Vogue editor Isabella Cawdor, who based an entire collection on their Scottish roots.
What do you think it is about Scotland that has really informed what you've done for Holland and Holland?
Literally, the physical environment of where we live influences what we want to wear. That's on a very practical level, and then the whole colour and texture of that landscape. I mean, the obvious influence of Scotland is the textiles.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a rich...
And tweeds and
Yeah. The wonderful tradition that we can draw on from that, and we're just pairing it together in a way so that it...
So it feels a little bit more modern.
So it's more contemporary, and the cut of the things is evolved for today. But you'd look very dashing in that.
Oh, thanks, Stella. Thank you.
Yeah, you would. We need to get you dressed up.
Stella and Isabella are updating tradition, but how have designers subverted it over the years? I wanted to meet my old tutor and encyclopedia of fashion, Judith Watt, to find out.
Doors opening. I'm still officially on going my fault.
We are an island. We have made our own rules. And we are now fantastically multicultural, and people have made Britain a real melting pot, which is fantastic. I think if we're going to talk about British style, it goes back to the sense of rebellion, the sense of challenging in dress, that goes back for hundreds of years.
So you touched on Vivienne and McQueen and how they referenced heritage.
Well, McQueen had lots of different kinds of heritage. His father was from the Isle of Skye, so he investigated his Highland heritage and he invested it with his own rage at injustice. And that's a really British thing to do. People who are very fragile can also be extremely strong. And I think with McQueen there was huge fragility. But there was a strong sense of history.
If we're talking about history, what better place to visit than the V&A's Clothworkers Centre, which has preserved 100,000 pieces over the years.
Hello there.
Hello, can you let me in? I want to see your clothes.
Yes, come through.
I met with the V&A's fashion curators to see how designers have subverted the most traditional of garments.
Look at this really lovely piece from Pam Hogg, who attended the Glasgow School of Art. And this is a really lovely dress that was worn by Mary Charter. This is her wedding dress. The bodice of the dress is, for the most part, transparent, with just a little covering over the bust, and then these amazing darts that come up on the lower part of the body.
It's very risque, very naughty. What have we got here?
Well, this is a piece from 1992, and it's by Joe Casely-Hayford. He sort of talks about how he mixes English heritage with British anarchy in his approach to dress and tailoring. It's a lovely example of a sort of very feminine style. You know, it's got an hourglass shape, but these very tough elements of studding and the collar. This juxtaposition, as we said, of feminine and the rough edges. You know, it's a very individual, again, I'd say quite a British thing.
Yeah.
You can mix up these styles and throw them all together.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely fascinating.
Leaving my dream wardrobe behind, I went to see how our most forward-thinking designer is drawing from Tudor times.
I had watched a documentary on Elizabethan and Tudor clothing, and I was kind of thinking how it would be quite ironic if a woman had taken something from probably the worst man in history, who was Henry VIII. And I thought, you know, how do we do it in a deconstructed, light way? And I quite like this idea that it nearly became like a new type of denim jacket.
Yeah.
I do like things that have this idea of overt history, but then they don't feel right. You know, it's sort of like
you're turning it and you're turning it on its head.
Yeah. Something like that. I always like the idea that someone will take it and pare it down. With jeans and boots.
I can't wait to see what people do with this jacket.
Because women don't dress like that. You know, sometimes you will buy a skirt from Mars, or you will buy a belt from whoever, and you whack it all together. I think textiles are so incredible. And we have the best, you know? Like, Scotland has the most incredible textiles. Ireland has the most amazing linen. And I feel like, in Britain, the most important thing that we should be doing is keeping that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I feel like without it, what does the next generation do for design?
Jonathan, thank you so much
thank you
for having us. I know you've got a really busy schedule.
Every conversation keeps coming back to preserving our art schools and industries. How else would we foster the next generation of Westwoods, McQueens and J.W. Andersons? For emerging designer Richard Malone, art school provided the freedom to rebel against his school uniform.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's so nice to see you.
You too. The old Charing Cross building was so exciting. Everyone was insane, and it was brilliant. Like, they literally picked people from all over the world and put you in, like, this room and were like, make stuff, and you kind of get histories and things drilled into you, but then you also get... they need to be drilled out of you as well, because you can't just copy things all the time.
And did you always dress like this?
We had to wear uniform a lot, so I always had to wear this hideous burgundy red uniform. And then my dad was like a painter and decorator. My uncles are builders and carpenters, so I always grew up with people that were like making things. And I find that they all have a uniform that they wear for everything that they then customize, and I find it really interesting when it gets worn over years and years and you add things to it, you wear it a certain way. So I've always been attracted to something quite strange, I think, in the way that you present yourself. Mm-hmm. But there's no vanity in it, you know, they just kind of dress for practicality, and there's no concept of like trend or trying to be cool or appropriation. They're just wearing clothes, and I kind of want to elevate those elements of a working class uniform to something that's quite, you know, exciting for a woman who's going to buy it.
St Martin's pushes students to reinvent ideas and tradition. I wanted to visit an art school where craft and textile heritage is a fundamental starting point to learning.
May have been busted with some waterproof.
Scotland's textile heritage has attracted designers from all over the world, so I asked a new generation of graduates to show me how it's surviving today.
Welcome to GSA. We are essentially an art school, so it's not so much about commerciality, it's more about be an individual, and that's great, but you do need that other skill, technical skill behind you to be able to progress and to be able to go and work elsewhere.
This is an industrial knitting machine. It's basically what they used to use in industry. It's very painstaking. Sometimes you'll take it across and the whole thing will fall off, and you've just spent like 5 hours doing it, and you're just like, there's no saving it.
Can I have
it's
a
really
go?
good. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, please do. So basically,
this is when I break it.
No, it's fine. So if basically you just hold these two handles and just take it across like quite slowly, that'll do like kind of
like driving a car.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. Once you get like the momentum up, like you can create like.
It's like a workout.
It is. It really is.
Oh no, have I broken it?
I love a bit of tartan, but it's like you're at an art school, it's somewhere where you're wanting to create new things. You're taught to like, how do you take the history and turn it into something new?
The words heritage and tradition often have quite fussy connotations, but seeing up close how they've been used to say something new and different has been really inspiring. They're not just marketing tools, they're saying something important, things about our national identity. Every designer has a personal way of expressing it. I wonder what it will look like in 20 years.
There's a paisley in here somewhere. Here we go. There we go, and that's from Kashmir. Via Norwich, via Scotland, apparently. Beautiful. Probably made for use as a purse, fan case, or book cover.